Hello. Big changes will take place across the UK this weekend. It's turned a bit milder over the past 24 hours, but it's going to turn colder again through the course of the weekend. It's also going to be a windy weekend, but after a mild start, it will again turn wintry. We do have warnings in force. Now, I'll have more of those warnings in just a moment because, first of all, Friday night, relatively calm and quiet. It's fairly soggy in northwest Scotland with a bit of snow over the tops of the mountains. Elsewhere, it's largely dry, a bit misty over some of the higher routes, and the winds, well, picking up a bit in the far northwest. Those winds continue to feed mild air across the country, so we are pretty much frost-free. We may get close to zero in Shetland for a time, the mild air never really arriving here. But elsewhere it is a mild start to the weekend, mostly cloudy start, but a largely dry Saturday morning for England and Wales, some drizzle in the west. There will be more rain across northern Scotland, and the wet weather peps up across western Scotland through Northern Ireland. We see some heavy rain through the morning, and then this band of rain will chug its way across England and Wales through the day. Probably not getting to eastern England until quite late on, but the afternoon looks fairly soggy for much of Wales, southwest England and northwest England. It's also getting blustery through the course of Saturday. The winds continuing to strengthen, but continuing to feed mild air across the country. So again, temperatures are likely to reach double figures in places. Through Saturday, late afternoon into the early evening, that rain will push across the Midlands and into eastern England. So a spell of heavy rain. And further north, the rain is turning more and more to snow, down to relatively low levels through the course of the evening. So that's the first warning that we have in force for snow and ice across parts of northern Scotland on Saturday night and into Sunday morning. There could be blizzards over the higher ground and even to relatively low levels, 2 to 5 centimetres by Sunday morning. The cold air then is pushing in and creating that snow. The cold air actually behind this weather front, although it's a cold front that moves across the country during the day. But really, if you take a look at the bigger picture, you can see that the really cold air coming down from the Arctic is behind this next weather front. Now, as that weather front swings through, notice the isobars also squeeze together. So that's the next issue. The winds picking up on Saturday night across Scotland and then through the evening across Northern Ireland. Strong winds also likely across Wales and southwest England. So in this area, we have a yellow warning for the strength of the wind, 50-mile-an-hour gusts. Maybe more than that around coast and over hills. That could also cause some disruption to transport, maybe even cause a few power issues. So again, that is Saturday night and first thing into Sunday morning. The strongest winds in the west, but wherever you are, those winds will be noticeable because they're drawing down the colder air. So it's a cold day on Sunday after a mild day on Saturday. We start with a lot of cloud, and there will be wintry showers across the east, more snow showers in northern Scotland. Elsewhere, well, most of the snow showers will be over the hills, but there'll be some rain and sleet down to relatively low levels. As I said, it could also be quite icy. By Sunday afternoon, there'll be showers in the west again. They'll have rain, sleet and snow mixed in, snow showers in northern Scotland. But for many, actually, it will be a bright day. But those winds will be making it feel bitter. Temperatures dropping only 4 or 5 for many and feeling a lot colder than that because of the strength of those winds, which could well pick up across eastern areas through Sunday afternoon and into the evening. That is another thing we need to keep a close eye on. And we can't take our eyes off the weather next week as well because it stays cold and there is a chance of more snow coming back. A lot of uncertainty about the details of that. So at the moment, stay up to date. Keep up to date with the warnings this weekend on the Met Office website. Download our app. Our warnings are on there. Or, of course, follow us on social media.